From the Goodyear blimp, Columbia, hovering high overhead. Capacity crowd here at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Our cameraman had a beautiful night to ride around. Frank Salicia is under control of Captain Nick Nicolari. Chris Barr kicks off for Oakland. And deep in the end zone is Anderson. He will stay there.
There's Art Whittington. He's had his personal problems, which shouldn't be delved into here. But he had a run just now, and he can kill you. There's Kenny King, who had the wind knocked out of him. This is a spectacular football game. It's the best that the NFL has to offer. When these two teams come together, there is nothing like it.
First down and 10. Mark Malone on a quick count.
All sorts of flags.
I do not believe they were set as Sidney Thornton got the call.
When you look at the record of Oakland, 17-1-1.
It's incredible.
On Monday Night Football.
False start. Offense.
Only timing is so critical, and of course with a new quarterback things change dramatically for the linemen. They're not used to, particularly on a quick count, they get used to a Bradshaw. They get used to hearing his cadence.
Kenny King doesn't look like he's reviving himself too quickly or being revived too quickly there.
He'll be back. On that Kenny King 61-yard run, did that look like a Lombardi sweep, Frank?
No.
Well, it did to me, the way he used to draw it up. Oh. He would say, get the seal, get the seal. And that closed off everyone.
Yeah, but Lombardi didn't do that. You guys.
First down, 15. Malone, beautiful shot. And it's complete. Stallworth has the first down. Boy, he has some arm down.
This kid's amazing.
Bradshaw at 6'3", 215 was the smallest quarterback that Pittsburgh has. Malone 6'4", about 225, and he does have a rifle there, that right side. He drilled it between the 8 and the 2.
Remind you again, Malone is the only quarterback. Cliff Stout broke his arm 4 weeks ago punching a bag.
Or did he fall off of one of those bucking bulls? It's one of those things. It was. It's one of those electrical bulls or punching a bag or something.
First down and 10. Oh! Swan does not hold on. The flag is down.
There was a mix-up in the backfield, but they got away with it.
But Matuzak and Browning and Martin were in on the kid again, and he never wavered, never flinched.
Call was made, it did appear to be against Lester Hayes. Malone now.
Lenny's trying to get outside of Lester. Moved in on the inside. Lester looks like he does have it right hand around him. That's an interference call. Good call.
It certainly was. Man who couldn't be here for the halftime ceremony, one LeBee, was Lance Bambi Allworth. Swan is the closest thing to Bambi in football today.
48-yard line. First down Steelers. Greg Hawthorne. That's back. He runs into Dave Browning. Gets a yard. It'll be second down and 9.
The Raiders and the Steelers played in a game where the Raiders came back after a 10 or 14-point deficit. I think the total of his all-time scoring record on Monday Night Football, 79 points were scored.
45-34 last year. What a game. Once the Raiders trailed the Steelers 28-7 going into the fourth quarter, and the Raiders won it 31-28.
That's the same game I was talking about.
Second down and 9. Malone.
Little low.
Fires a shot to Stallworth, and it's low.
The thing I appreciate about Oakland is that they are not mathematically eliminated, but they're very close. They've got to have some strange things happen, a couple of ties.
2 earthquakes. And
a couple of earthquakes and a couple of tie ball games. But the fact is, you're seeing, I think, the kind of character that the team has. This is the Super Bowl team.
Exactly.
And they were the first Super Bowl team to come out of the wild card position a year ago, and a lot of people said, hey, they didn't deserve to win. The fact is, Oakland is a spirited team. They play good football.
As we said earlier, these two teams, as you look at them, have won 6 of the last 7 Super Bowls.
Third and 9. Franco Harris. Single setback. Jim Smith is in.
Threw that one off his back foot.
Alone, under pressure, fires incomplete, and the Steelers will have to punt.
He felt the pressure that time. Frank did not step up. Threw it back off his right foot. Bounced it about 10 yards short. The receiver was not open, and we have an Oakland player down, it looks like.
Defensive back for the Raiders is down.
Bradshaw there on the sideline. We really hate to see that. Could be Lester Hayes, I'm not sure.
Lester Hayes.
Yes, it is.
The injured Raider. What a year Lester Hayes had last year. They took away his stickum.
Well, the Steelers, frankly, the Raiders, frankly, admit that Lester misses the stickum, Frank.
You know, Lester's also the guy that's extremely superstitious. He has all these little rituals that he goes through before every ball game. And taking that stickum away might bother him, but a lot of things. He had 18 interceptions a year ago. We mentioned this earlier in the telecast. He had 2 this year.
Well, the Raiders as a team only have 10.
Yeah, but they're not throwing at him as much. They haven't scored as many points. Let's see what happened. He just falls right there on the left. It looks like he maybe fell on his right shoulder. Maybe just knocked the breath out of himself.
I think he might have knocked the wind out of him. He's walking off the field, appears to be all right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's 4th down. Craig Colquitt has come on.
And you just saw a shot of the young quarterback Malone with Chuck Noll. And when Chuck Noll is not happy, he has one of the most expressive faces in football.
It looks like the one he has when he's happy.
Whittington is at his 12-yard line. Colquitt with another booming kick. Whittington lets it bounce, and it'll settle at the 7-yard line.
Good punt.
Whittington, even had he made the fair catch, it would have been up close to the 10-yard line, and we got a brawl going.
That's the feeling between these 2 teams.
Dirt Weston, I guarantee, is going to be in there somewhere, number 53.
I guarantee you none of them can fight.
That's Dirt Weston, 53. They're beginning to get it put together there right now.
Otis McKinney.
Ron Johnson, Otis McKinney.
Ron Johnson started it all off. But there are no flags. And the ball was killed at the 7-yard line. That's our story. We're in the 3rd quarter with 8:56 remaining.
Something's going on in the back of this economy car.
You can cross your legs in a Nissan Stanza.
The new front-wheel drive Nissan Stanza. Only at your Datsun dealer. 5-passenger room in a high-mileage car.
I can cross my legs. We fly past the pumps. It feels like a limousine.
And I've got power for passing.
The affordable new Nissan Stanza at your Datsun dealer.
Datsun, we are driven.
There are life insurance companies that also insure homes and boats and cars. But for over a century, Northwestern Mutual has only insured the one thing that truly matters. Life. Becoming better and better, dollar for dollar, as the #1 specialist in individual life. Compare the leader, Northwestern Mutual, the quiet company that only insures one thing.
Number 2 ranked Georgia and Pittsburgh in a battle that could determine the national championship. The Sugar Bowl moves to prime time, New Year's Day on ABC.
Craig Colquitt has hurt the Oakland Raiders once again. If you recall, a few moments ago, he kicked from deep in his own end zone, hit a 74-yard punt. This one, he kicked high, and he was able to be killed at the 6-yard line. Art Whittington. And Whittington goes down in the arms of L.C. Greenwood in pursuit after a pickup of about 3. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
Channel 12, WISN-TV, Milwaukee.
For those of you just joining us, we are in Oakland, California. Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Don Meredith. We're watching the Pittsburgh Steelers We desperately need a win tonight against the Oakland Raiders. We have a tie game with 8:25 and the clock moving here in the third quarter. We're tied at 14. Terry Bradshaw has been lost for 4 weeks. Broken bone, right hand. Jack Lambert out of the game tonight. Mild concussion. Second down and 7. Derek Jensen. Stacked up as Jensen out over the 10 to the 12-yard line. A gain of a couple. It'll be third down and 4.
Had some help that time slowing him down, but Dirk Wilson did make his move to the middle linebacker position to come over and put the final touches on that tackle.
Big down for Oakland. They've got to get out of the hole, otherwise Pittsburgh will have superb field position.
Lindsey Macy has replaced Art Shell at left tackle for the Oakland Raiders. Lindsey Mason, third-year man out of Kansas. Art Shell, of course, the veteran 14-year man, former All-Pro. You understand he has injured his ankle. Third down 3. Whittington
made it.
First down, taken in the arms of Jack Ham, but not until he picks up the Oakland first down. Rapidly paced game, hard-hitting game.
And they did what they had to do.
See if he can pick it up. Joe Green, number 75, is right over the center. Makes his little jump. Can't get out quite quick enough. L.C. Greenwood is there, too. Jack Ham is the guy that finally makes the tackle. Gets a little help late there from Dunn.
18-yard line. First and 10, Oakland. Mark Wilson to Jensen. Gary Jensen with an open field. And he's run down at midfield by J.T. Thomas.
May have been a good example. We've got Green and Greenwood back in the lineup right now. They went right between both of them. No Jack Lambert to fill the hole. Big hole.
53 is Winston. He's the replacement.
Bring Greenwood in on the inside. Good block by right tackle Henry Lawrence. Big hole.
One of the great sub-dramas here tonight. Joe Green, Gene Upshaw, certain Hall of Famers, each in the twilight of his career. Here's Frank.
33-yard pickup on first and 10. Wilson is back. Wide open is Chandler, and he does not hold on a pass that's thrown low, but could have been caught.
Nobody was there to defend, too, Frank. That ball should have been caught.
Should have been caught.
Donnie Shell was out of position. Chandler, they ran a good route. It was a play-action pass. You'll see Chandler over here all by himself.
Oh, sure.
Well, he could have actually caught that ball. It was there, taking a step or two back toward it.
Right on the numbers, really.
For Mark Wilson, the 5th pass that has been dropped by receivers tonight.
Definitely catchable. It didn't look that catchable when I saw it the first time, but he should have had that ball.
6:08 remaining in the third quarter. Second down and 10. The ball near the 49-yard line of the Steelers. We're tied at 14. Hawkins. Again is there. Hawkins struggles for perhaps 2. It'll be second down and 8. Mention Hawkins. He was a 10th round draft pick. Also the 3rd all-time leading rusher of the University of Nevada, Reno. Boy, he had some incredible numbers there. When he left school, he was the 3rd all-time leading NCAA rusher. Had over 5,000 yards.
His height was the big concern, Frank. He's 5'9", 225 pounds. They didn't think they cut him once. Came out here, they picked him up, had some injuries.
I'll tell you, his heart isn't small. Third down and 8. Wilson, Whittington, first down.
They had a blitz that time, but it was a late blitz. Too slow in developing. Got no pressure on Wilson. Had man-to-man coverage with Ham out there. Who's a very good
Whittington, very
coverage.
Busy tonight, and he gets the first down at the 35-yard line.
See, Laurente's number 51 on a slow blitz. Doesn't get back there in time. You got Ham out here one-on-one on Whittington, and Whittington can beat him.
As good as Jack Ham is, when you get him one-on-one with a quick back like Art Whittington, he's going to be late.
Slow blitz.
Remember, the Raiders started this drive at the 7-yard line. Confusion in the backfield, and the Steelers will have the football.
5th turnover.
I tell you, with the mistakes Oakland has made tonight, it's amazing they're tied.
Robin Cole comes up with the recovery. Oh. Mark Wilson trying to hand the ball off to Art Whittington. There was a collision, as you'll see.
Here, there maybe was not a good exchange between the quarterback and the center. No, he has it right there. No, he hit his pulling guard.
Kurt Marsh
hit the pulling guard. He didn't quite have good control of it. Had the ball up high. Kurt Marsh, the guard, pulled, knocked it out of the way.
So Robin Cole gets another turnover, and the Steelers will have a 1st and 10, their own 36-yard line.
Discover a world beyond your wildest dreams. Discover Atari. Pioneers in coin video games like Tempest and Asteroids. Home video games like Space Invaders and Missile Command. And home computers sophisticated for advanced needs, yet simple enough for your child to use. Compose music, manage your finances at the touch of a button. Discover Atari. Atari! And discover how far you can go.
Where's the birthday boy?
It's a special day in a child's life, all too quickly gone. But it will never be forgotten, thanks in part to the miracle of flash photography. And this strong, ultra-clear plastic, invented by Phillips Petroleum, that helps make flash bars possible.
You mean you don't like bones?
Oh, well,
It's just a little thing.
Well, how about that?
But then, little things can bring joy to life. Caring for your car and more. That's performance from Phillips Petroleum.
Wednesday.
And Crystal?
A visit from Crystal's niece has the dynasty steaming.
Trials and tribulations of the Oakland Raiders. Their court case with the National Football League has not dimmed the enthusiasm for football here in Oakland. Capacity crowd, 54,000 here tonight on hand. Raiders on the season 6 and 7. Pittsburgh 8 and 5. Sidney Thornton on 1st and 10 in motion.
A little bit offside.
Franco Harris, he saw the movement.
Just a little bit offside. Otis McKinney.
You realize, Don, the Raiders have had 4 fumbles, 1 intercept, 5 turnovers, and they're still tied.
And a partridge in a pear tree, and they didn't call that offside, and he was in the backfield when the ball was snapped.
No flag.
What in the world that happened that time?
Gain of about 1.5 yards by Franco Harris.
You have
ball
a phone?
2nd down and 8.
You got a phone line to Jim Tunney?
No, I don't care to talk with him. That's okay.
38-yard line of the Steelers. Mark Malone, the young quarterback, in a rather heady situation. He's a good athlete. And a smart one.
He certainly is. What a terrific call that was. They had an overshift in their offensive setup. Middle linebacker moves out. Let's look at it again. Saw that shift.
Boy, what a great time to have it called.
Follow Steve Curson. That could almost even have been an audible. You don't know. You'd like to think that he's smart enough to do that. Finally chased out of bounds by Burgess Owen.
I'm not so sure if I had just one quarterback, I would want my sole remaining quarterback running the football like he has.
Yeah, that's probably true. They bill him. They say he can probably make it as a running back, a wide receiver, or even a defensive back if he doesn't make it as a quarterback.
Maybe the fastest back they have.
1st down and 10. Malone on a 16-yard pickup near the 42-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. That's Thornton in motion, and this is Franco Harris. He's in trouble.
Nobody out there to block.
Otis McKinney. Dave Browning had slid out to force Franco wide to the outside. Otis McKinney, who's done a tremendous job this year, filling in for an injured Mike Davis. Had some troubles earlier in the year in our first week of the season. Was fined for a hit on the Minnesota quarterback. Became a little tentative after that. Then he's had trouble, too, with injury problems. Twice he's had a broken cheekbone this season. But he was there when the Raiders needed him. There was a loss of 7 yards. 2nd down, 17.
Sidney Thornton, I think, missed a big block that time. They replaced him with Greg Hawthorne.
Franco Harris.
No
And Harris in the arms of the rookie from Villanova, Howard Long.
You know the backup quarterback in emergency is?
Let me guess. Either Lynn Swan or John Stallworth.
You got it. Lynn Swan.
They have a face mask, as you can see, indicated against Oakland.
Another key Oakland mistake.
Did have him from a reverse angle. We can see it quite clearly. Comes back in there. Franco had no place to go, and there's that big right paw coming in and hits right in the face.
Personal foul, face mask, number 75.
What a mistake.
The rookie, 2nd-round draft pick from Villanova.
And the man who set up that play was Dave Browning. It was in on Malone so fast, it was unbelievable.
Howard Long saying, I didn't do it. He forgot about our reverse angle.
He said, I didn't mean to do it.
1st and 10, 46-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Greg Hawthorne. And he finds 3 difficult yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. There's a young man that the Steelers had such high hope for when they took him as a first-round draft pick in '79, but nagging injuries, hamstring pulls, ankle problems,
and bad hands.
Franco Harris, 7 yards on 9 attempts against the rugged Oakland Raider defense. On 2nd and 7. Malone to Cunningham. And Benny Cunningham, the big one, to the 27-yard line. Another Steeler first down, and Mark Malone is not looking like a young man who is really playing his first professional football at quarterback.
He's beginning to settle down, isn't he, Frank? Plants his feet well. That time Benny Cunningham goes down on a turn-in route, plants his feet pretty well. Malone just really drills it right there.
Cunningham goes 260, and he gave Otis McKinney at 185. One shove that took McKinney back about 4 yards.
What was the call, Cunningham?
House and a half.
1st down and 10, 27-yard line.
Humbo!
Malone, Swan crosses him up. That one, Malone was anticipating the break to the sideline. Swan took it inside. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. 2 minutes now remaining in the 3rd quarter. Hope you're enjoying. Good football game. These two bitter rivals. Steelers have lost the last 4 times these teams have met. But remember some of those games in the middle 70s? As we look at Bradshaw once again, in case you just joined us, broken finger, broken hand, bone in the right hand, out for 4 weeks.
Or longer.
Hawthorne stacked up, line of scrimmage, sheer effort will get him 1. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Ted Hendricks, Donnie Robinson, the rookie nose guard from Louisiana Tech.
3rd and 9.
They were in on the stop. Guess they're anticipating that their record will go to 18-1-1 with a win tonight. Of those 17 victories, the Raiders have won 13 straight. Just remarkable on Monday night.
In '73, they played a tie against Denver at 23 all. Then '74, the opening game lost to the O.J. Simpson-led Bills, 21-20.
3rd down 9. Swan's wide open, and a flag goes down. Swan has the yardage for the first down at the 12, but a flag is down. And the Steelers indicate that it will work once again against Oakland. I don't believe the penalty was against Swan. There was another receiver down deep. I believe it was John Stallworth.
Illegal contact, number 37, declined, first down.
Lester Hayes.
Lester Hayes, and this one he does not complain about.
Little crisscross pattern. Swan comes in from motion. He and Stallworth coming out from the same side. That was a pretty quick call on Hayes.
It sure was.
Because that was not what I would call one of your illegal touches.
No.
Inside the 12-yard line. First down and 10. Roll out by Malone. He'll get into the end zone easily. And Mike Davis was down there fighting in the end zone with his back to Malone. Davis covering Stallworth. And Malone literally went into the end zone all alone.
Not bad. Had a little collision with that could have, I don't know what that was. It wasn't a real smooth move, whatever it was. Greg Hawthorne was a guy that he bumped into. But once again, Malone shows that his basic athletic ability to roll in there and score.
Earlier, Malone with a 16-yard pickup got a first down. Now he takes it into the end zone. This one is blocked. David Trout.
That Trout really has put the suspense back into the field, the extra point, hasn't it?
A big extra point.
What are the odds of him kicking off for Pittsburgh in the opening game next year?
Actually, they got it down. Had the movement.
Hit it low. Didn't get it up quickly enough.
Gotta pop that conversion up.
And as they say, that could be the difference.
2014.
He did kick it low.
1:04 remaining in the third quarter. And what a difference that extra point could make down the line. There's Mark Malone filling in for Bradshaw. He has been a force tonight.
You know, baseball is the same in Japan as it is in America. You play 9 innings, 3 strikes and you're out. And after the game, there's nothing like a beer. And when Numa's in town, I treat him to light beer from Miller because it tastes great. Yeah, I know it's less filling, but we drink it because it tastes great. Listen, Numa, it tastes great. All right, it's less filling.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And
My Datsun 210 wagon is amazing. Sometimes I think it's this big.
With reclining buckets, split fold-down rear seats, and nearly 50 cubic feet.
It's huge. But sometimes I think it's this big. Over 400 economical miles on one little table. And the price? This big.
The Datsun 210 may be the biggest little bargain in wagons.
Datsun, we are driven.
Knockout North American amateur boxing excitement and daredevil high-flying action when ABC's Wide World of Sports returns December 12th on ABC.
David Trout will kick off. Arthur Whittington, number 22, is deep with Kenny Hill, the first-year man from Yale. Trout really hammers this one. Whittington from the 1-yard line. And tripped up as he crosses out over the 20-yard line. They'll mark it at the 21. And the Oakland Raiders offensive unit back out on the field.
Fine play by Zach Valentine. Had he gotten past Valentine, he would have had some open space and big yardage and field position. Instead, Oakland has to start the long way.
Oakland, frankly, a victim of their own mistakes tonight. Penalties, 4 fumbles, interception. 1st and 10. Mark Wilson puts Cliff Branch in motion. And here's Art Whittington. Whittington. Nice. Line of scrimmage, that's about it. J.T. Thomas up from his free safety position on the stop along with Dwayne Woodruff. And Thomas has been really a pleasant surprise filling in for retired Mike Wagner at that free safety position. I remember in '78 running into J.T. Thomas. They never thought he'd play this game again. He was out for the season with a blood disorder and used to travel around and scout the teams that the Steelers had coming up. He's made some comeback. They give Whittington a yard. 2nd down and 9. Malone. That's it. Flag is down. That usually indicates holding. Bob Coors was all over Mark Wilson. Or rather, Mark Wilson. Tripping or a leg whip. Indicated again against Oakland.
They have made some mistakes tonight.
Oh, no team could surmount this number of mistakes.
Tripping, number 70, decline, 3rd down.
Henry Lawrence, number 70, watch.
And now they got,
there it was.
Run over. That's a trip on the way down.
That was a trip, yes. The wrong kind.
3rd down, 15. Wilson fires to Derek Ramsey. He'll be short of the 1st down at the 30-yard line, but not by much as we see the final seconds expiring here in the 3rd quarter.
They'll measure for the 1st down.
It will be close enough for a measurement. So we'll check it out. They bring the sticks in.
I don't believe he made it.
Derek Ramsey struggling in the arms of the defender. Should be inches short.
Mistake by Ramsey. You've got to get to first down territory.
So that will be our situation when we come back. It'll be 4th down for Oakland. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports. There it is. The end of the 3rd quarter with the score 2014. Pittsburgh over the Raiders. We'll be back after this from our stations.
Sunday, the place is the Mexican border. The crime, murder, and the suspect is a fellow cop on today's FBI. Then, Roger Moore, Telly Savalas, and Stephanie Powers lead an all-star cast after a lost Nazi treasure, the Golden Raiders.
Here's your straws, Bob.
Thanks, Pete. Happy holidays.
Thanks.
In fact, a holiday straws for everyone. It's on me.
Bob's buying?
Bob? Bob's buying the straws. Bob? Bob's buying, Bob. Bob's buying the straws. Season's greetings, beer lovers. Happy holidays.
From one beer lover to another Stroh's.
At Christmas time, Gimbel's is the perfect place to find new ideas for that favorite gift for someone special on your list. Underneath the tree, she'd love to find cozy, colorful slippers from Deer Foams. They're foam cushioned, pile-lined, and machine washable. They're warm and comfy, real energy savers in a style and color just right for you. Choose from Deer Foam's warm-ups for her at $10, for men at $12. They all make great gifts now at Gimbel's.
These are a few of my favorite things.
Good evening, I'm Jerry Taft, Channel 12 News. Early today, Syrian soldiers surrounded a hijacked Libyan jetliner at the Beirut airport. 3 people with guns inside, making a list of demands. We'll have the latest on that for you tonight after the game.
The numbers aren't the best, but then again, Ray Guy, well, there was some question whether he would even play tonight because of the bad back. Here's Larry Anderson for the Steelers. He's at his own 30-yard line. That is not the respect with which he would show a healthy Ray Guy. We begin the 4th quarter. Ray Guy this time really pounds it. Anderson at his 20-yard line.
Good move by Anderson.
And works his way back out over the 30-yard line before he's taken by Jeff Barnes. And now a late flag is dropped. And once again, tempers begin to flare.
Otis McKinney was the first guy down on that punt coverage. Made one quick move. Larry Anderson did. Uh-oh.
Personal foul against the Steelers. Those are your 3rd quarter stats. Oakland, as you can see, dominating in yardage by nearly 100. But they trail on the scoreboard. Here's our call.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 61, 15 yards, first down.
Tyrone McGriff. Watch 61. He'll come from the left side of the screen. There it was. There's Tyrone.
Good old Bradshaw on his down.
Steelers at their own 16-yard line. Not a very cozy 6-point lead following the misconversion. Franco Harris having a difficult time tonight. Upended after a pickup of a yard. It was Matt Millen, 2nd-year man out of Penn State.
A couple of Penn State guys there going head-to-head. Matt Millen a little bit of the younger end of that. He's just jumped in out here at Oakland and fit into that middle linebacker position in a very fine fashion.
Franco came in at tonight's game needing 106 yards to set an NFL record of 8 years of 1,000 or better. He has gained 8 yards on the night.
That is amazing.
2nd down and 9. Russell Davis, who was not expected to play because of a very sore knee.
I tell you, David Browning is playing some game tonight. He was in there again. Just spectacular.
It'll be 3rd down and 7. There was a gain of a yard by Russ Davis. So we'll see the three wide receivers. Swan, 88, Smith, 86, and John Stallworth, 82. Smith, put to the left. Top of your screen, Swan and Stallworth. Malone, and down goes Malone. The rookie from Villanova, Howard Long, on the pass rush. He's big, 265, 265-pounder. And Malone is dropped all the way back at the 8-yard line. And the Raiders on 4th down should get excellent field position.
And once again, the job is Craig Colquitt's. He's been remarkable tonight. As a matter of fact, ever since on a Thursday night game in the early season, Tommy Vigorito of Miami returned the punt 87 yards for a touchdown. They have been able to do nothing in returning punts against him.
Colquitt hangs it high. The fair catch is called for and executed at the 48-yard line. Excellent field position for the Oakland Raiders. They trail 20-14. We'll be right back.
Earl Keese is about to meet the neighbors. Vic.
So, what do you say, neighbor?
Welcome to the end of the road, I guess.
It's a great house.
Thank you.
I mean mine.
Ramona.
Left ball in the corner pocket.
John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd in Neighbors. Rated R. Starts Friday, December 18th.
You know, for my money, every pair of slacks ought to be this comfortable. These are Levi's Action slacks. I own 4 pair now, and I'm convinced they may be the most comfortable slacks a man can wear. First, they have a hidden stretch waistband. It's a great invention. Second, the fabric gives for even more comfort. And now Levi's Action slacks are stay pressed. A washable permanent press that really stays pressed. You try them.
Levi's Action Slacks, the easy care, easy to wear slacks from Levi's Menswear.
Mark Wilson made his 8th start tonight. Took over for Jim Plunkett after Oakland had been embarrassed with 3 consecutive games in which they could not score a point against Detroit, Denver, and Kansas City. He won 4 of those 7 starts. He lost 3 on 1st and 10. Cliff Branch, even though the ball was deflected, comes up with it. He'll have a 1st down at the 37-yard line.
That's a good open for Oakland. After you get the ball tipped, if it still goes into the intended receiver and he's able to catch it. A little bit of pressure there. The Steelers still don't get real good pressure. That was Goodman that stuck his hand up. No, actually it wasn't. It was Coors. Stuck his hand up and deflected it, but it did come down into that's his hand. Almost 1st down. We'll have a measurement.
They bring out the yard markers.
1st down.
1st down and 10. 38-yard line. I remind you, tomorrow Patty Hearst will make her first television interview since being released from prison. She speaks out and she talks to Barbara Walters. Watch ABC News, World News tonight. And for the complete report, watch 2020 on Thursday. 1st down and 10. Oakland, 38-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wilson, all the time in the world, going for Chandler. Chandler out battles Woodruff. Touchdown, Oakland. Wayne Woodruff had possession. Chandler goes up with it. It looked as though Woodruff slipped as he tried to come back. 6 points, Oakland.
You believe this football game, the crowd understandably going crazy. Chandler, a magician.
Couldn't ask for better position than that.
Well, he had the inside position. Woodruff is trying to go up for it. Then he slides down and leaves Chandler all alone. It started with an ample amount of time to throw the football. No pressure from the defensive line of Pittsburgh.
That was the key to that touchdown. Mark Wilson just stood there in the pocket. Chris Barr.
He missed it. I cannot believe that.
I don't believe the way they miss extra points. And
Chris Barr has missed the conversion. We're tied at 20.
It's unreal. It's pro football. You can find kids on the streets of the big cities who can kick better.
But they don't always do it when it's, you have to have it. And he just slid that one off to the right, didn't he?
And for a right-footed kicker to miss it to the right, that's almost impossible. We'll be back in a moment.
I've had to write some tough things about some tough guys. But there's one guy I can't write anything bad about. His unique brand of baseball has made him a living legend. So have his commercials. They got me to try his favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Light's less filling and it really tastes great. So I bought this light for that renowned yet humble man, Marv Thrunger.
Cheer up, Billy. One day you'll be famous just like me.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less. Sure as one wave follows another, you'll be seeing copies of this car, the new Datsun 310. Suddenly, everyone's trying to build a high-mileage front-wheel drive beauty like this. But there's one thing you can't build overnight: quality. Nissan's been building quality into Datsuns for 50 years, not only to pass the test of mileage, but to stand the test of time.
Datsun, we are driven.
12:23 remaining in the fourth quarter here in Oakland. They're tied at 20. Anderson and Moser await the kick. They're trying to assure that the ball will go to Anderson. They want to hide Moser, if you will. And it doesn't matter because Barr has exploded it into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Bob Chandler, and he was so missed during the early going. Last year, he led the team in touchdowns, yardage on receptions. He just keeps rolling along now in his 11th year.
A ruptured spleen. Had to have the spleen removed after the first game of the season. Many thought he would never play again. Back, and as great as ever. Somehow always getting loose. And as you just saw, taking advantage of Woodruff for the touchdown catch. Remarkable story.
First down and 10, the Steelers. Ball at their own 20-yard line, following the touchback, and Malone is in deep trouble and bobbles the ball.
Isn't he? That'll do it.
And somehow a Steeler got under the pile, comes up with the football.
You talk about
a maintain possession. It was Tunç Ilkin.
Tunç Ali Ilkin.
Turk.
Tunç Ali Ilkin got out there. Tunç is the guy that came in. They've cut him once.
You believe this game, Frank?
It is wild. Here comes the charge.
They got him from all angles, didn't they?
Hendricks.
Still couldn't get it.
There is Thornton.
Where's Tunç?
They still scramble.
Tuzak loses it.
Lost it while he was on the ground.
Tunç Ali Ilkin got it.
Second down, 17. Ball at the 13-yard line. Malone is back again. Batted away.
Hendricks.
Dead Hendricks.
I tell you, when he gets going, there's no one like him in football. He proved it last year.
He had such a great year last year. Oh. This year, I think teams are more aware of what the Raiders try to do with Hendricks. And, of course, he's had nagging injuries, but he was everywhere at any time in any part of the game a year ago.
Look at the durability of the
That is amazing, that stat for a linebacker. 188 consecutive games.
What a player.
Third down, 17. 13-yard line. The crowd is on its feet. Russell Davis, 44, the single setback. Malone. Underthrows to Stallworth. It'll be fourth down, and Oakland should get the ball back once again in good position.
He had Stallworth open that time, underthrew. Stallworth made a good move. He and Swan Verano double tandem that time. Stallworth comes in motion, comes down the field, makes a cut to the outside. Mark couldn't get it there high enough for him to catch.
Kid has been remarkable, but in a situation like that, you know what Bradshaw means. The great veteran.
There's Ted Watts. Near his 47-yard line for Colquitt, his 9th punt of the night. This time it doesn't turn over. Watts takes it at his 48-yard line.
Got some room. Got some room.
Could go all the way.
All the way.
Colquitt is the last Steeler.
That's it.
Ted Watts, the rookie first-round draft pick from Texas Tech. His longest return until just a moment ago, 17 yards on the season. This one, 52 yards. Oakland touchdown. Colquitt had no chance.
That is the first time a punt. No, he's never had one blocked. He may have had one run back on him, but
Figueredo, 87 yards.
You're right.
Thursday night game. The kid from Virginia. Now it's this kid.
As Lester Hayes has said, hold back. I'll get over here and get this thing going, and they did it, didn't they?
Oh, what games these two teams play. Oh.
Chris Barr. Still, I think, shaken, perhaps by his misconversion of just a few moments ago. High snap. Chandler gets it down. This time we're through the uprights.
There he is. Ted Watts.
First-round draft pick. And he has just paid a major dividend. We'll be back in Oakland in a moment.
When an engine needs a rebuild, I bring it to Joe.
That's me.
And you know what he's rebuilding a lot more of these days?
4-cylinder engines.
Small engines work a lot harder than big engines, so if you have a small car, it's even more important to take care of it right. Change the oil regularly, and put in a new Fram oil filter when you're supposed to. A Fram filter doesn't cost much.
I do.
But the choice is yours. You can pay me now.
Or pay me later.
I'm a technical knockout.
Hitachi's better.
No way.
Is your color system as advanced as Hitachi's signal tracker?
Actually, no. But I have a 1-year warranty. Pretty good, huh?
Hitachi's video recorder has twice that.
Nice. But Hitachi can't beat all these controls.
Don't need to. This one-touch stereo goes from tape to turntable with one touch.
One touch?
Hitachi's a world leader in technology.
You and me could make beautiful music together.
From the Goodyear Blimp, Columbia, high overhead here in Oakland. Nice night for football, 55 degrees, fogless here in the Bay Area for the moment.
Dawkins kind of moving in a little bit, though.
Oakland has taken the lead for the first time tonight. Chris Barr hammers one. Larry Anderson from the 1-yard line. And Anderson taken inside the 20 to the 17-yard line by a hustling, fired-up Raider defense.
When you look at the number of mistakes Oakland has made tonight, the fumbles, the turnovers, and still they're ahead, it is simply amazing.
If the Steelers don't make the first down in this series of plays,
yes,
party's over.
You'll sing it.
Party is over.
10:51.
Mark is doing a good job.
Quarter. I think the kid's been astounding. He really has.
They got to have this series to clear everything out.
They're going to get it fast.
And Harris piled up by a pursuing Oakland defense short of the 25-yard line.
But good first down yardage.
Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. A reminder once again, Terry Bradshaw has a broken bone in his right hand. He'll be out for 4 weeks. The Steelers have also been going without the services of their all-pro middle linebacker, Jack Lambert. He was injured early in the game. Diagnosis there, mild concussion. He's not been back. 2nd down 4. Here comes the blitz on Malone. Steelers pick it up. And almost picked off by Lester Hayes. The pass attempt to Benny Cunningham, who was open, was overthrown. Well, could be that Mark is just starting to realize the situation he's in.
Be best if he doesn't think about it, just goes ahead and plays on his natural ability, but it's hard not to think about it.
You're right, Don, but Frank's comment was very coaching. And one wonders about that call, because this was a situation where, as you said, they had to get the first down. And now they got to get it on 3rd down. when a quick trap might have done it on second.
Third down, a little less than 4. Malone gets Hawthorne, and he'll have the first down out at the 30-yard line.
Pass complete to Greg Hawthorne.
Rod Martin was there defensively, along with Matt Millen, the 2 linebackers for the Raiders.
It's important, the first down situation. I mentioned it for just this.
Excuse me, Don, there is a flag down, line of scrimmage. And again, it's indicated it'll work against Oakland.
Darn, I tell you, they have not had breaks go their way, have they? And they're still on top. They're winning in spite of themselves.
That's true.
The options being discussed with Mark Malone, the acting captain on the field for the Steelers.
You just get the feeling that the whole sense of this game has shifted over to Oakland.
Holding, number 37, 5 yards, penalty accepted, first down.
Well, Lester Hayes is having himself a night.
For all the grandmas in the world.
I know a grandma is here tonight.
Yeah.
With her oldest grandchild.
Happens to be Emmy Cosell, right?
Happens to be.
She's a lovely grandma.
Greatest.
And Jared didn't mind his trip down to the field before the game either.
That's Justin.
First down and 10.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
they're picked off. Otis McKinney. And McKinney brings it back to the 17-yard line. Pass attempt again to Benny Cunningham. 3 Raiders were there, and McKinney came up with it.
Turn out the lights. The party is over.
There's Cunningham overthrown. There was a man right in front of Cunningham.
Good things must end.
It's not over yet, Don.
All
this Pittsburgh
night. The party is over. You mark my words.
I think you're right. No way, I don't think you're right. But kind of sad for Mark Malone.
That is sad for the Steelers. I really felt they had it together. They really put 3 games in a row. Lost Bradshaw.
First and 10, 18-yard line. Frank Hawkins, a rookie from Nevada and Reno.
There's Bradshaw and Lambert. Too much to overcome.
Really was.
They're trying to make a transition period. And they've done a pretty good job of it. They put it together.
Hawkins gets 3 yards, comes out of the lineup, as Terry Bradshaw tries to counsel his replacement. Mark Malone on the sideline.
I'll tell you, the Pittsburgh organization, from the top down, the ownership, right through the scouting, the player personnel people, just such a great organization.
Second down and 7. Chandler in motion. Whittington. He's been working tonight. He struggles close to the 11-yard line. It'll be third down and 3. Lauren Taves defensively there for the Steelers.
As you look at Tom Flores, suddenly under fire this year, all the accolades a year ago. If they played all their games on Monday night, they might never lose again. Oakland, a great organization. I don't care your feelings about the lawsuit between the Raiders and the NFL, which, by the way, I suggest may be settled.
Picked off almost in the end zone. J.T. Thomas had his hands on it, and a scuffle breaks out at the line of scrimmage.
They are very sincere about this match.
Yes.
They're very sincere. They're not taking it lightly on either side.
2 great football organizations.
There are some big bodies involved in that scuffle.
And look at Jack Ham, Penn State grad, talking to number 55.
Matt Millen.
Matt Millen.
Penn State grad.
How they're both out there at the same time is what I want to know.
No flags. We'll have a fourth down. We'll see Chris Barr.
Anything can happen. Frank Gifford was playing defensive back against George Blanda when Blanda was with the Chicago Bears. How do you like that?
I like it.
Yeah. It's a 29-yard attempt. Chandler's the holder. High snap again by Dalby. But no problem for Chris Barr. And Oakland has extended and protected the lead. They move to a 10-point advantage with 8:10 remaining in the fourth quarter. We'll be back in Oakland in a moment.
Some house, but you need a new heating system.
Gas is nice.
We heard wood stoves were efficient. Wood's not cheap.
There's oil. Camry is a fireplace.
How about steam? You gotta have insulation.
I know electric.
Hold it, hold it.
Solar heat.
Hold it. The first step is the yellow pages.
The Bell System Yellow Pages. The first step in helping you solve a heating problem. Before you waste time and money, take the first step. Let your fingers do the walking through the Bell System Yellow Pages.
Some storm.
The house is cozy.
There's a new name on the road, a new name in comfort, a new name in style, a new name in economy.
Nissan Stanza.
Nissan Stanza, the new name in 5-passenger comfort,
Feels like a limousine.
in great gas mileage,
We fly past the pump.
in front-wheel drive performance.
I've got power for passing.
Nissan Stanza.
Remember the name only at your Datsun dealer.
Datsun, we are driven.
Knock out North American amateur boxing excitement and daredevil high-flying action when ABC's Wide World of Sports returns December 12th on ABC.
There's Chris Barr wearing a covered cast.
And the take no
He
prisoner
had a
sign.
problem against Miami. Here's Larry Anderson from the end zone. He'll bring it out. And Anderson, good effort, out to the 25-yard line.
He got a broken wrist in the Miami game several weeks back when Oakland crushed Miami.
And Mark Malone forced into the role of Terry Bradshaw tonight. At times brilliant, and at other times less than brilliant.
I'll tell you who's watching this game with huge interest.
The New York Jets.
Exactly. Because if Pittsburgh loses, the Jets can recontrol their own destiny by winning their final 2 games.
So with all those other 8 and 5 teams, you think there's so many of them. Malone gets up to it, finds a receiver downfield.
That's remarkable. I don't believe this.
Cunningham has a first down at the 45-yard line.
Lynn Swine was a good 15 yards behind everyone, but it's that kind of play where there's no way Malone could have gotten it to him.
Where was the rush?
Well, he tripped right here.
Is Oakland playing it safe now?
He tripped either on his own feet.
It looked like he was going to stay there for a moment.
It sure did. Or Sidney Thornton, he gets up, flips it out to Cunningham. He was all alone. Lester Hayes was behind him.
And they marked it inside the 45-yard line of Oakland. First down and 10, Pittsburgh.
The Raiders can't start playing too conservatively or it's all over for them.
That's right.
7 minutes remaining in the game. Shot in the middle and complete. Mark Malone has another Pittsburgh first down. This time Lynn Swan.
Win or lose, this kid has been amazing. He really has.
Swanee coming in from the outside, always a threat. Even if he doesn't catch the ball, he's going to influence the defense. You've seen him make a number of catches like that. He has the ability to go with that ball, slide down, catch it.
He catches that ball better, a ball thrown like that better than anyone I've ever seen.
He really does.
It's a little hook slide, total concentration. He gets the first down, 22-yard line of the Raiders. Pittsburgh trailing by 10. Malone looking for Cunningham.
Good ball, well thrown ball to Cunningham.
Well, he was out of bounds.
That was still a beautifully thrown ball.
It really was.
He whipped that one out there.
To you, Mark Malone, you've got it, kid. You're going to be a great star in this league for a long time.
Look at it from the reverse angle, and that ball is right on the money. Cunningham got the first one in, and he couldn't get that
second one out.
Right foot down quick enough.
He tried so hard. Second down and 10. Crowd on his feet. Hendricks on the blitz. Malone.
Again, a
gets
good
the ball to Stallworth. And Stallworth will have a first down near the 10-yard line.
If you want to know about time, We're coming down to the 6-minute mark, so there is time.
Dave Browning is going to be right in Malone's face, number 73. Again, another good throw. Stallworth up. We saw Stallworth miss a couple of passes in the early part of the game, but we made mention then this man is the top receiver.
Steelers will be able to get a first down close to the goal line. 5:35. And McKinney is offside.
Yeah, he was offside that far a while ago. They didn't. And they're not going to take that.
Thornton. I go ahead with the play, and Thornton is down at the 3-yard line.
Now, would you accept the penalty or negate it?
Let's just see. I'm not sure how far he got down there.
2 yards past the penalty.
I would not accept it if it's down on the 2.
Those are the options being explained now to Mike Webster.
What would you do,
McKinney
Gibb?
did not make contact, so the play was allowed to continue.
What would you do, Gibb?
I believe they marked it, though, on about the 4. Therefore, you'll take that penalty and put it down on the first down and 5 on the 5. I think I'd take that.
That's what I'd do. Yeah. What would you do, Gibb?
Well,
I think that's the situation. You save the down if you can.
Offside, defense, decline. Second down.
So
we're all together,
will
right?
take the 5-yard penalty. The down will remain the same.
Well, I think you still leave some area there. It is on the 3-yard line, but it is inside the 3-yard line.
First time in 11 years we've all agreed.
And we were right. They were wrong.
So it's second down. They take the advancement. Malone back looking. Picked off Lester Hayes. What a time to come up with the interception. Oh, the pass intended for Lynn Swan.
And Hayes had that one played all the way, moved inside of Swan. I think
Lester's made a few mistakes tonight. He just redeemed himself totally there. Lester reading him all the way, stepped in front of him. The ball thrown actually a little behind Swan. And Oakland will have first and 10 at the 20-yard line. They maintain their 10-point lead with 5:26 remaining in the game. A tough task ahead now for Pittsburgh. We'll be back.
Over the years, us guys in light beer from Miller have had a lot of laughs. But this time we'd like to share some personal sentiments.
Boo, have a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and a Happy New Year, too.
Yeah.
And this holiday, may there be bass under all your lily pads.
May all your pockets be full. Feliz Navidad. Peace.
We wish you everything you always wanted in a Christmas.
And more.
You know, I'm glad they asked me to do this commercial. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Now there's a place where they have their own authorized mechanics, quality parts and service, and prices you can afford. Now there's K-Care, found only at Kmart.
You don't have to spend a lot for steel-belted tires, not with K-Care. This is our KM Radial 225 with 2 steel belts on a polyester cord body for radial tire strength, traction, and mileage. The 225 is sale priced as low as $39. Now that's a steal, but that's K-Care, only at Kmart.
That sign says it all, Frank. They'll be 18-1-1.
The last 11 home teams on Monday night have won. That's an interesting stat.
We saw a quick look at Lester Hayes with his 3rd interception of the season. Nothing like last year, but what an important one it was tonight. First and 10, Whittington, right side.
Whittington, the ball carrier.
Raiders now will be thinking about the clock. Reeling off the seconds, looking for first downs. Art Whittington played a major role tonight. Kenny King was shaken up on a 60-yard run to help set up an Oakland touchdown. We understand he, too, was taken for x-rays. Looked as though he had the wind knocked out of him, but it could be something more serious. Second down and 8. Frank Hawkins. And Hawkins, you heard somebody shouting to him, stay in bounds, which he could not do.
Exactly.
Stops the clock at 4:45.
To agree, that really is true. The steel curtains are hurting. They're trying to make the patchwork as quickly as they can, but it does take a little time, a little transition period.
Tell the truth. You said you believed Terry Bradshaw and what he said.
Yeah.
Didn't you have a hunch that the Steelers would somehow be back in the Super Bowl this year and might conceivably win the whole thing?
Certainly did, but I had that hunch based on the fact that both Bradshaw and Lambert were going to still play.
Yeah. Of course.
And
so did I.
Third down and 8. Wilson under pressure. And Wilson can get the first down.
And he did.
Which he does. Bob Coors pursues him, but not until Wilson had picked up the first down.
How about that one for one of your, quote, big first downs?
The good old boys hanging out in Oakland. Hey, he gets out of a lot of traffic here. Here comes L.C. Greenwood. He had a little deal on.
Greenwood should have made that tackle. Coors comes back from behind, can't get him in time. First down.
Wilson now on 3 scrambles, 25 yards on the night.
Greenwood cut through clean.
Inside 4 minutes. First down and 10. Hawkins, the rookie from Nevada, Reno, over the left side.
Good news for the Raiders. X-rays negative on Kenny King. Brilliant 61-yard dash by Kenny tonight. One of the key plays, and there have been many in this up and down contest.
Kenny King.
Hawkins is coming out now with a minor limp. Whittington filling in for Kenny King. You can recall Whittington had a tremendous year as a rookie, over 600 yards rushing. Hurt the next year, replaced by Kenny King last year. He's been a definite factor tonight. Second down and 8. Whittington. And Whittington gets out to the 38-yard line where it'll be third down and 4.
Good yardage and chewing up time. Exactly what they want to do. He's been more important than those figures show, Frank.
Whittington started to come out, turn around, slip. Now he's going back in.
Any way he can help, he wants to add to it. That's part of the spirit, I guess, he accumulated somewhere in his collegiate career.
In case you missed it, Terry Bradshaw, broken finger, right hand, out 4 weeks. It was almost an insignificant play. He scrambled, threw the ball, and then went down, and that was it. Third and 4. This will be dependent upon where they mark it as to whether it's a first down or not to Derek Ramsey.
They're going to call.
The flag has gone down.
Probably going to call Donnie Shell, who was the defender on Derek Ramsey. I don't think he actually got the first down with it. Of course, it obviously depends on where they mark it. Personal foul on Pittsburgh. They do have a first down now.
No longer matters.
Personal foul against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ramsey was close to the first. It becomes academic as referee Jim Tunney marks it off down close to the 43-yard line of the Steelers. Here's the call.
Personal foul. Number 31, unnecessary roughness. 15 yards, first down.
2:24 remaining in the game.
I also think we've seen a couple of future stars born tonight. Mark Malone and Derek Ramsey.
And Mark Wilson we're seeing really for the first time, and he may be around Oakland for a while also.
Frank Hawkins.
The ball.
And Hawkins inside the 40, close to the 38-yard line. Nice run there. Through the traffic, gets 4. It'll be second down and 6, and we're heading towards the 2-minute warning. And for the Steelers, a tough road ahead. As you had a look at Mark Malone, who's going to have to fill some very large shoes. There it is, to the 2-minute warning. It'll be second down and 6 at the 38-yard line when we come back.
What you want in a 4x4 truck is ground clearance at the critical point, the differential. If these bowling balls were rocks, they wouldn't clear the differential on this 4x4, or this one, or this one. But they clear the Datsun with the highest minimum ground clearance of any compact. Yeah. Datsun wins the clearance bowl. Datsun 4x4.
another we are driven.
This is the taste that has won over 200 medals for excellence in wine tasting competitions all over the world. This is Inglenook. This is the taste that is served by more travel holiday award-winning restaurants than any of the other top 5 California wines. This is Inglenook. This is the taste that brought a record price for a California wine in auction, over $1,000 a bottle. Discover award-winning taste. Discover Inglenook.
We're back at Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum. The Oakland Raiders threatened to give the football game away in the first 3 quarters. They rallied for a 30-20 lead. They have a second down and 6. The ball is at the Pittsburgh Steelers 39-yard line. 2 minutes remaining in the game. The Steelers have 3 timeouts, as does Oakland. Cliff Branch in motion for the Raiders. Hawkins, left side.
Frank Hawkins, the ball carrier, stopped by
Navigates
Joe
his way
Green.
down to the 36-yard line, where Joe Green is there for the stop. And the Pittsburgh Steelers will extend a timeout, killing the clock with 1:52 remaining in the game. Gives us an opportunity to tell you this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Datsun, who invites you to see all the exciting new 1982 Datsun cars and trucks at your Datsun dealer today.
This is one of the games that we might want to really mention this because it, people might want to use this one. Incidentally, and I'm telling you this because this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. Now, it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written, has to be written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Terry Bradshaw, we're all very, very sorry to see you there on the sideline. I like you. I admire your work, and I'm terribly sorry to see you get broken finger in that pass in hand. Here's a guy that came through and has had so many things happen to him in his career, from being called so many unnecessary things, of being dumb. He's only got 4 Super Bowl rings, and I really felt they had a good shot at another one this year until tonight. He broke that little finger. Maybe that's what he was trying to do, get that 5th ring on the finger. It hurt. I admire him. He's done a good job.
3rd down and 4. 38-yard line. Art Whittington.
Arthur Whittington carrying.
And Whittington gets a couple far short of the first down. It'll be 4th down.
Charge. Timeout.
There's another man who has to be feeling melancholy. Jack Lambert, so great in the early going, suffering what has been translated to us as a mild concussion, but clearly the defensive leader of his team. And that amazing player in his 13th year. Hendricks, once again, all over the field tonight. Plays that he doesn't appear to be the central figure in. Still ultimately responsible for by the pressures he creates. 2 of the very great organizations in the NFL playing football at its finest. Chuck Noll, who has established himself as one of the great, and I mean great, contemporary coaches. Yes, it's been a night of true NFL football. Randy McClanahan there.
4th down, Ray Guy is on. Larry Anderson is back for the Steelers. Steelers have 1:46 on the clock. They have 1 timeout remaining. Ray Guy off the side of his foot again. To remind you, Ray Guy playing tonight with a very sore back. He was in traction twice in the last 2 weeks. We'll see the Raiders, our final Monday night telecast, against the San Diego Chargers. And next week, we'll see Atlanta versus Los Angeles. Hope you'll be with us. Hope you've enjoyed our year. Atlanta mathematically still alive. Los Angeles is not. And it's hard to tell the way the season has gone. They cannot write the Steelers off. They have Cincinnati at home next week. They will, however, tonight fall 2 games behind the Bengals should they go on and lose, as it appears they will.
And that Oakland-San Diego game appears to be much bigger than it was before tonight's game also.
That's true.
On 1st down and 10, Malone is back. Cunningham And Benny Cunningham navigates his way to the 41-yard line for a first down as the seconds tick away. 125 and moving.
Lester Hayes tried for another interception, got there a little late. The ball zipped right under.
Six-man defensive backfield for the Raiders. Pittsburgh goes underneath to Franco Harris. He gets 8 yards. Hit there by Mike Davis. After the Steelers for Cincinnati next week, their final game will be against Atlanta. And the Steelers will close out their season the final Sunday of the year against Houston. Malone. Lynn Swann, they say yes. And Swann stops the clock with 53 seconds and another first down for Pittsburgh. 30-20. Oakland over the Steelers. And it does appear as if Oakland will win their 5th consecutive game against the Steelers.
You want to see the team still in the hunt? You figure it out. As I said, the Jets moved ahead of Pittsburgh tonight. The Jets can control their own destiny now if they can beat Cleveland and Green Bay. And the latter particularly will be very difficult.
Malone to Thornton. Another Steeler first down to the 31-yard line. Ted Hendricks made the stop.
And in the NFC, there are so many teams with playoff possibilities at 7-7. Only Werner von Braun could tell you about it.
Franco Harris will scramble to get out of bounds, and he stops the clock with 28 seconds after a pickup also of 7 yards.
Werner von Braun.
For San Francisco has already clinched the Western Division of the NFC. Dallas is assured a wild card. But after that, well, the computers are whirling.
What I was saying, Don, which you quickly understood,
Certainly.
was it had all of the complexity of a problem in nuclear physics.
Yes, Werner von Braun.
Of course.
That's, yes. Oh.
Second down, 4.
Oh. Give me a break.
Malone with a lot of time, and this one almost picked off again by Lester Hayes. I'd like to thank our stats and research man, Jerry Klein, our spotter, Steve Bazika.
If Lester were out there long enough, he could beat his last year's record.
Lester Hayes covering.
22 seconds remaining. Steelers with 1 timeout. They're faced with the 3rd down and 4. There'll be heavy hearts on the trip back to Pittsburgh tonight. Bradshaw, minimum of 4 weeks. That would, of course, take them into the playoff season. Sidney Thornton. Thornton has the first down. Ted Hendricks made the stop. And the final timeout called by the Pittsburgh Steelers with 16 seconds remaining in the game.
Pittsburgh, number 3. First down.
Mark Malone over visiting with Chuck Noll. Chuck Noll has not had a losing season since 1972. The Raiders have not had a losing season since 1964.
But what you're saying right there, it seems to me, is very important as the character and strength of Chuck Noll. His concern now is about the continuing development of Mark Malone. There is no evidence of panic, no evidence of outrage over the loss by his team. Instead, a truly great coach, himself in hand, totally composed, knowing he's lost, but concerned about the young quarterback and his future.
Possibly so, but I even get the feeling he doesn't really admit that he's lost yet. They're over there still trying to plan these things, how they're going to score.
With 16 seconds left?
He's a little ridiculous, but I mean, that was the feeling I got off of it.
First down and 10, 17-yard line. Malone back again.
Look at that.
It's complete to Jim Smith, and Smith is in the end zone with 10 seconds remaining on the clock.
That's a coach. That's a man.
Jim Smith, his second touchdown of the night from young Mark Malone. He is really some fine receiver. They have 3 as good as any around.
You can see him giving him plenty of room, Frank. It's like, hey, look, we'll let you even have this touchdown.
Of course.
And that particular Dwayne Osteen didn't really make that much of an effort to keep him out of the end zone, which is a little unusual because crazy things do happen, but not with 10 seconds.
David Trout Hard in his throat, puts it through the uprights.
Score Oakland 30.
Pittsburgh is drawn to within 3. They have 10 seconds. They have no timeouts.
In the vein of what Don said, do you remember the game when suddenly the ball went to Franco Harris?
I do.
And they beat Oakland, and Al Davis has never gotten over it.
One of those, I guess, one of the most remarkable plays in the history of the NFL.
No, these teams have played such remarkable games through the year, they're indescribable.
But you look at Oakland's record, now it is more than likely to be 18-1-1 on Monday Night Football, and they have beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers the last 5 times they've played. It is a very fierce rivalry.
Tom Flores, what a tough year for him. In his second year, he took the team to the Super Bowl, then saw so many injuries early in the year.
And Jim Plunkett too, Frank.
This will be your onside kick. And it will not go far enough. It had to travel 10 yards. And now Oakland will be able to just run the timeout. The flag is down, by the way. That's marked, I believe, where the ball was hit by a Steeler after 8 yards.
Inside the 45. So that's a dead ball. They got to take it back.
Mel Blount tried to knock it forward with a sneaky little punch.
Illegal touching of the ball. Decline. Oakland recovered the ball. First down.
Well, and Pittsburgh has no further timeouts. This one is history. And Mark Wilson has now won 5 and lost 3 in his 8 starts. So we'll see the Oakland Raiders again on our final Monday night telecast against the San Diego Chargers. And again, that game with Oakland still at this point mathematically alive. Certainly San Diego definitely alive.
Good shot of Franco Harris there, Frank. What a remarkable athlete he is. What a big part of the Pittsburgh Steeler success Franco Harris has been.
Part of ours, I might say, too. Over the years, Franco Harris, the most prolific ground gainer ever on Monday night. And there it is. The final score, 30-27, Oakland over Pittsburgh. Remember, stay tuned for ABC News Nightline, 30 minutes after the game, 11:30 on the West Coast. Over most of these ABC stations, our blimp has been provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, travel arrangements made through, and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We'll see you Monday night from Los Angeles